We're ready. Awesome. Hey, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for our first hybrid TFN event in over a year. It's exciting to have an actual live audience here, which we do. Make some noise. Yeah. Proving that they're actually here, hosted by our longtime partners at the AMP Foundation, and a warm welcome to TFN's global CEO, Eugenie Harvey, who joins us tonight too. It's equally exciting to have so many of you logged in here tonight to join us wherever you find yourself. If it's somewhere weird, write it in the chat box. If it's not, don't bother. If it's in your office or the lounge room and there's kids screaming and running around, we don't want to know about it. We're having a great time. My name is Veronica Milsom and I'll be your MC and guide for this very exciting live crowdfunding event. But it's not just me tonight. I also have a sidekick. I'm like Rebecca Dunamono's sidekick, honestly. She's Batman and I'm Robin. But you will hear her running around and assisting me with her humour and agility. So she will be around and about tonight. If you'd like to spread the word about tonight, we invite you to tweet and post, maybe do a TikTok. I don't know how these things work. Instagram post. Everyone was like, tick what? No, we have a kid in the audience. Are you going to do a TikTok? Yeah, you are. Later on about this event. Make it as some sort of song. I'd love that. Use the tags that you see on the screen. Before we go any further, I'd like to invite Binui Bales, Head of Indigenous Programs at AMP, to lead tonight's Acknowledgement of Country.
Gidirigo, thank you. Can I have everyone say Warrami? That's not loud enough. Even you at home, can you all say Warrami really loud? Warrami. Beautiful. Warrami is hello in the traditional language of the Gadigal people. First of all, my name is Binui Bales. I'm a local Redfern woman, 7 generations born. My mother was a part of the stolen generation that was in Redfern in the 50s, and my father is a proud Indigenous man from North Queensland, where I inherit a lot of my cultural knowledge. Budiri malinawal, budiri nyuen, ngaya bimbibila binui, ngaya garagol nyura, ngaya wayenga, ngaya wanarua, ngaya bandela, ngaya guigo nyura, ngaya biana, ngaya biragaba, gangalu, wuli waka waka nyura, ngaya binui miti miti, ngaya garago redfern nyura. So in my language, I've spoken to the ancestors. I've asked them to guide us. I've asked them to welcome us here on Gadigal country today. It is important that we all acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which we call home, as we will walk the path to reconciliation together. This is a united effort. So from my people, the Indigenous people of this country, we welcome you to these lands and we share these lands with you all. It's important that we acknowledge the neighbouring clans, the Gamaregal across the river or the ocean here. I'm thinking of the bush rivers. We're in the ocean here. We've also got the Wallamadagal, the Bidigal, and also we've got the Wangal. So I've just went north, east, west, and south, all of the clans in those directions. And it's important we ask them all to come tonight and give us their blessings and walk with us in unity. Gidirigo, Yano Yano.
Thank you, Binui. I would also like to acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. Now, since this hybrid format can be unpredictable, please do be patient and laugh with us or at us if things don't go exactly as we planned. I mean, it's just exciting that hybrid events are the new normal, frankly. It's very futuristic and I love it. For our online audience, you can use the chat feature on the right-hand side of your screen to add comments or questions throughout the event, and our dedicated chat manager will respond as needed. We have a chat manager. It's very fancy. TFN's CEO, Julie McDonald, is going to be your voice here in the room. And as I mentioned earlier, tonight's event has been made possible thanks to our event partner, the AMP Foundation. Thank you and a special welcome to AMP staff, both in the room and online. AMP is a founding partner of TFN, and this is our 12th event together. It's also a joy to be here at the grand old dome of Sydney skyscrapers just one last time. I mean, it's a pretty epic view here, but it's gone dark now, so don't worry if you're at home, we can't see it anyway. It's lights, but it's nothing, don't worry. Before we get into it, if we just wanted to give a shout out to one of our tomorrow makers, Corey Tutt from Deadly Science, who, yeah, maybe you've heard about this. This is wild news that's come in. So he pitched at that event last year. It was announced yesterday that one of the sponsors of Daniel Ricciardo's F1 McLaren team, Smartsheet, has decided to hand over the space where their logo would usually sit on the halo of the car to Deadly Science, which is just massive. And even more exciting if anyone's a fan of the Netflix show Drive to Survive. You're really in it, you know? If you're into F1 a little bit, you'll get really dedicated. And that's cool. What if it shows up in that show too? So if you don't know about Deadly Science, it's a non-profit organisation that encourages Indigenous students to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering and maths by providing remote schools with resources, books and mentoring opportunities. So just a huge opportunity for Deadly Science. Keep your eyes out for Daniel Ricciardo's car, and well done, Corey. So let's get to it. You'll be hearing from 3 AMP Tomorrow Makers, amazing Australians who have received grants through the AMP Foundation's annual $1 million grants program. These presenters will be telling you about their organisations and then asking for your support. Each presenter will have 6 minutes to tell their story, and then they'll answer your questions. For anyone online, you'll see on the screen that there is a place to ask questions, and then there's a chance to vote on the best question. So, I mean, don't put a mediocre question in there, I guess is what we're saying. Make it a good one, and it'll get voted to the top. Maybe it'll get an answer. After we've heard from all 3 presenters, we're going to facilitate a live pledging session in person as well as online throughout the chat. I'll give you more instructions on that part of the program when we get to it, so hold your horses. We'll get there. Let's meet our presenters, and a heads up that there is going to be some sensitive material tonight, particularly from the third speaker is going to be speaking about domestic violence and economic abuse. If that's something that's of concern to you or personal, if you'd like to leave the room ahead of that speaker, please feel free to do so. Now to our first presenter. NRISE is committed to improving life outcomes for Indigenous and disadvantaged children across Australia. They provide critical educational support throughout online tutoring, digital device donations, and employment pathways into STEM-related careers. Let's welcome Bronwyn Coville, CEO of NRISE, to the stage to tell us more.
Thank you, Veronica. Let me introduce you to Daryl. Daryl is a young Indigenous boy, and NRISE met him a few years ago when he was around 15. Did you know that Indigenous children are 11 times more likely to be removed from their homes and placed in out-of-home care? Daryl is one such boy. And what percentage of all out-of-home care children in Australia do you think are Indigenous? Around 50%. Now, Daryl has experienced significant trauma in his young life, and he's currently with his 3rd set of foster parents. As a consequence, he's moved schools quite a number of times. Daryl doesn't like school. He finds it hard to engage in learning, and he doesn't understand what's being taught. And his attendance is patchy at best. Like many children that we service, he has diagnosed learning difficulties. In fact, Daryl just wants to leave school as soon as he possibly can. And he's typical of Indigenous students who are only half as likely to finish Year 12. In Australia today, only 66% of Indigenous 20 to 24-year-old youth have finished Year 12 or equivalent. So what's the bottom line here? The bottom line is that Indigenous children like Daryl are not 1, not 2, but 3 times more likely to be unemployed as a direct result of not getting a proper education. And the question I'd like to ask here tonight is, how do we change Daryl's trajectory? And thousands of other vulnerable children just like him. What is the best practical support that we can provide to close this gap? The National Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Social Survey asked Indigenous school students exactly that question. What assistance did they feel that they would best be supported to excel at school and also to complete Year 12? 85% said they wanted more involvement from family, school and friends. 43%, nearly 50%, said they wanted individual tutoring. And a further 39% wanted coaches and mentors. So NRISE, based on this feedback, teamed up with social tutoring platform Need a Tutor. Need a Tutor connects qualified teachers exclusively with disadvantaged children and then holds one-to-one online tutoring sessions between the two via their own platform. All the tutors are qualified and all the tutors are paid for their time, their expertise and their commitment. NRISE provides individual tutoring once or twice a week, free of charge to children like Daryl. In addition, NRISE also donates pre-loved refurbished computers and devices to children who cannot tutor without one, and we certainly found that out during COVID. We found that the benefits of this individual tutoring on our children has been nothing short of transformational. Firstly, we see an improvement in our students' school attendance from an average of around 3 days a week to 4 and sometimes even 5. Secondly, there's greater engagement and confidence at school, and that's evidenced through increased levels of literacy and numeracy. In fact, pictured here is young Jaden, one of our boys. He won a maths award at school recently, and his foster mother said he's never won anything in his life, and she could not be more proud of him. And he attributes that 100% to his maths tutor, Georgina. And finally, we do see an increased level of Year 12 completion. Our ultimate aim through this long-term tutoring is to see less unemployment, lower rates of poverty, and better overall life outcomes for the next generation. Now, currently we have a wait list of students looking for tutoring. And in fact, our numbers have blown out significantly due to COVID, but also due to the recent floods. So your contribution here tonight will go directly towards delivering these vital tutoring services and devices to as many vulnerable children as we can. Every $100 tonight will give one-to-one individual tutoring to a child from a qualified teacher. $5,000 will enable a full year of tutoring to a child just like Daryl. $50,000 tonight will change the lives of 10 Indigenous families by supplying a full year of tutoring to 10 vulnerable children. Your contributions tonight will also allow us to continue to donate devices to children that cannot learn without one. So what about Daryl? Well, after 3 years of continuous tutoring through NRISE, he's currently completing Year 12. He thinks he wants to be an apprentice, but he's not sure. But he does know that by completing his HSC, he will have more options in life, and we could not agree with him more. He credits his dedicated tutor, Michael, to this remarkable turnaround. Now, we all know that education is life-changing, so please help us tonight to improve life outcomes for as many children like Daryl as possible. We hope tonight we can NRISE to the challenge. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Bronwyn. Now for some questions. Our online audience can enter questions in the Q&A box, and while that's going on, we can take a few questions from the room. Rebecca, over to you.
Hello, Bronwyn. Well done. That was fantastic. Fabulous. Fabulous. Loved it. I'm going to kick off with my first question. You mentioned the tutors that you have and that they're qualified teachers, but where do the majority of them come from?
Oh, they're from all over Australia.
Great.
Yeah. So we take CRTs, which are casual relief teachers generally. We do have a couple of teachers that work in schools full time. We take pre-service teachers, so teachers that are finishing their degrees, and we have a couple of retired teachers and professors that are really wanting to give back.
Isn't that great? Something to do after you've finished your teaching career, to then move on and teach a whole new bunch of people.
And to use their skills.
Isn't that fantastic? Does anybody have any questions for Bronwyn? And if you do, please wait for the microphone to reach you before you ask it. Yes, we have a question here.
A couple of years ago, Deadly Connections pitched at one of our events, and it makes me think there might be some other organisations in this kind of space. How do you collaborate with those?
We have a couple of programs that we run in different Indigenous, the Indigenous social sector. We do some work with like the Melbourne Indigenous Transition School, which you might be familiar with in Victoria. We do a lot of tutoring, and a female STEM program is a specific one that we're doing with MITS. We work with Barnardos, we work with Mirabel. So we work with a lot of organisations that have Indigenous children there, and we work with them to make sure that their children are supported. Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, we have one down the front here.
Thank you. That was a fantastic presentation. It was wonderful. I wanted to ask about the statistic that we saw on one of the slides. 85% of children said that they would benefit from family and friends more support. I just wonder, I know that you're specifically focusing on the tutoring, but that's a large proportion of the community that you work with that's looking for that kind of support. And I just wondered if there's anything you're doing to facilitate that.
Well, I think we do a lot of mentoring as well, and that's just part of the process of tutoring. I think a lot of our tutors, even though they're qualified teachers, spend a lot of time mentoring the children as well. And I'll give you just a quick example. We had one particular tutor who called me to say that one of the boys was being bullied at school, and he didn't quite know how to handle it. Was it okay for him to speak about that instead of maths? And I said, absolutely. So we spent a lot of time with the young boy on issues like that. And I think that happens probably a lot more than I know of. But, so we would hope that we would also be filling in some of those mentoring gaps as well through the tutoring process.
We have a question from the online audience. Thank you to Ellie. How are the students identified to participate in the programme?
Through all of our partners. We do, as I said, with MITS and Barnardos, and those organisations contact us. Out-of-home care organisations contact us as well. There are so many organisations around Australia that look after Indigenous children. So mostly, we contact them, they contact us, or they hear about us and they ask us to help support them.
And I'll ask one final question, Bronwyn. What ages are the children that you tutor?
They're all school-age children. The youngest would be about 6, but we are increasingly seeing more secondary students, and particularly with COVID, they lost a lot of schooling, and those sort of year 9 to year 12s, we really want to focus on those, get them through school and get them finished year 12. So yeah, the focus at this stage is those senior school students.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you so much, Bronwyn.
Oh, we have one more actually
One
from
more.
online. I think, Benny, you have one as well? Yeah. Well, quickly online, Bronwyn, are you government funded?
Oh, we have tried very hard to get the Department of Education to let us help them. I'm not sure if you're aware, but New South Wales and Victoria both put in a tutoring program to help with COVID catch-up. And we put our hat in the ring many times and unfortunately were rejected. So we would love to be part of the solution, and especially for the remote communities that have the internet. We can get in touch with those communities and we can help them out. But so if anybody here is connected to the Department of Education, and happy to phone them up. Thank you, great question.
Very good.
Growing up and living in an Indigenous community, we see a lot of support in our community with kids at school, but once they leave school, they get lost or have the wrong crowds, etc. What can you do, or what do you do, or do you offer for after school, just to keep them on the right path and possibly looking at career pathways?
Look, well, we don't offer anything at this stage. We do have quite a few organisations we work with that do that employability part of it. The STEM program is probably the closest thing we've got, Binui, where we try and get females to take up STEM subjects, and then we give them STEM tutoring. So I don't know if you're aware, but I've got a daughter who was in year 9 and 10 and had no idea what she wanted to do, but never thought she could do anything to do with STEM, but they just don't have the confidence. So what we've done is we've made sure that they get a science tutor or a maths tutor, a specific tutor, so that they can then feel confident that they can take up STEM subjects. And by taking up STEM subjects, potentially they can get employed in that sort of industry. So that's about the closest that we've come to that.
Brilliant. Excellent.
Well done.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
thank you so much, Bronwyn. We can exit together.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bronwyn. Thank you, Rebecca. Now for our second program tonight, Cherished Pets has innovated a groundbreaking veterinary social work science service that supports vulnerable people, including the elderly, people with disability, and those experiencing homelessness or a mental health crisis, so they can enjoy the benefits of healthy pets and a thriving human-animal bond. Here to tell us more is founder and CEO, Dr. Alicia Kennedy. Welcome.
Look at these two. How gorgeous are they? This is a photo of Billy and Mr. Green. How does this photo make you feel? And does this photo convey a story to you? For me, this story conveys a photo of connection, companionship, and unconditional love. It shows a cherished pet and this magical thing we call the human-animal bond. And it is the magic of the human-animal bond and its ability to transform human lives that brings me here with you tonight. I am a social-hearted vet. That means I really, really love pets, really love them, and I really, really love their people too. Enabling the benefits of healthy companion pets and a thriving human-animal bond to be accessible to all people is actually the reason I get out of bed each day. It's kind of my purpose. I am here for you and for every human who loves their pet. I am particularly dedicated to supporting people experiencing vulnerability with the care of their pets. And what I mean by that is the elderly, people living with disability, those experiencing mental health crisis, people fleeing domestic violence and facing insecure housing, and that is a rising issue. This is Toby, another gorgeous pet. I have a really nice topic because we can have cute pet photos. He is the very cherished pet of Kathy. She's in her late 50s. She's the sole carer of her non-verbal autistic son, Jack. She lives on a pension, has limited family support, suffers anxiety and depression, and revolves her days around Jack's complex care needs. Kathy has told me many times that Toby is the reason that she can keep going. His affection, his companionship, and in particular those special cuddles late at night when Jack is finally asleep, sustain her. Through our groundbreaking veterinary social work service at Cherished Pets, we have created Team Toby to ensure that Toby and Kathy can access the care they need. So who is Team Toby? We have Elise, our amazing veterinary social worker. She's qualified, professional and kind, and her role is to manage his care plan, including funding. We have our very cheerful community vet nurse, Glenda, who visits them monthly. She loves to have a chat and she bakes the best scones in Australia, which has actually proven to be a really nice fundraising thing for Cherish Pets at times. Anyway, pardon? For people. We're pets and people. Our dedicated volunteer, Michelle, who walks Toby a couple of times a week and transfers him to the vet and the groomer when the need arises. We have Toby's vet team, who are the gang on the ground back at our vet clinic in Ocean Grove, working so hard for our social purpose and Toby is able to access our vet clinic and also our partner vet hospital. His very gentle and kind groomer, Leanne, and of course, Kathy, who is Toby's #1 human. And because of our service, she is empowered to make choices around his care. Our veterinary social work service is the first of its kind in our country, and we're very proud of that. We are bridging the gap between animal health services and human health services. Social inequity is on the rise in Australia, and Kathy and Toby are not the only ones who are struggling to care for their pets. There's the pensioner who's living on 2-minute noodles so that he can save up for an expensive prescription diet for his cat. The young woman living on the streets, her little Jack Russell, her protector and her comfort. The mother and her children who choose to remain in an unsafe household rather than leave their pets behind. The 60-year-old divorced retiree with very limited super, unable to find housing and choosing to live in her car rather than surrender her dogs. All of those examples represent real life people that we have helped. When people face vulnerability, their capacity to care for their pet can be compromised. And in the face of this, a very cherished pet can be badly neglected. And I have witnessed some terrible neglect, unintentional. We all know that it's not from a lack of love, it's from a lack of capacity. Cherished Pets exists to solve this problem, and the repercussions through our community are massive. We build capability in people to enjoy healthy pets. We all know that pets are good for our health, and science is backing us on that one. Do you know how many more pets there are in Australia compared to the beginning of the pandemic? There are 1 million more pets in our country. That's a lot of pets. Accessibility to pet care and veterinary services is a community issue. As pet ownership increases, so does the pet affordability crisis. And as social disadvantage rises, so does the need for home pet care assistance, funding support, and crisis pet care. We do all of that. Recently, Kathy needed help in a crisis. She reached out to me after hours because Toby was very unwell. Our beneficiaries are always prioritised to receive our service so that we are there with them when they need it the most. We activated Team Toby with a home visit and the emergency care plan. We are with them both, holding hands, hearts and paws through all life's phases. Cherished Pets needs you to help us help more pets and people like Toby and Kathy. With your help tonight, we are ready to scale our service nationally by developing our resources and our outreach across the veterinary and health services sector. It's a big job. To keep pets healthy and well and together with their humans for as long as possible. For every $100, you can provide a monthly community vet nurse visit, complete with some scones from Glenda. $4,000 provides a comprehensive home pet care package for a beneficiary and their pet for 1 year. $60,000 is a solid investment to secure a sustainable vet social work service nationally, and that is my mission. So imagine for a minute a community where those with the resources, like us, are supporting those who need generosity through where those with the resources like us are supporting those who need our generosity through vulnerable times. Imagine the peace of mind you would feel knowing that your cherished pet could remain healthy and well and together with you through it all. That is why I'm asking you to support Cherished Pets. As Kathy tells me so often, The peace of mind that I have in knowing that you are there for us through it all is worth more than anything. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alicia. I want to snuggle Toby too.
I know.
Let's go to some questions with Rebecca, and do put your questions, if you're online, into the Q&A chat box.
Fantastic. Well done, Alicia.
you.
Brilliant, brilliant. Oh, I've desperately wanted a dog through the entirety of lockdown, so I'm now wanting one even more. Thank you for that. But I do have a question for you. There's a lot of awareness at the moment of the crisis within the vet industry. There's a shortage of vets, but there's also some very alarming statistics regarding mental health and suicide rates amongst those in the profession. Does your model do anything to address these issues, and if so, how?
Absolutely. We believe we're a significant part of the solution. The vet industry is in crisis for all the reasons that you said. A million more pets in Australia. The intensity of the human-animal bond in supporting people is stronger. I've been a vet for 30 years. I've seen the shift. So pets are so much more important, and the capacity to care for them. So the pressure on the veterinary teams is beyond description sometimes. And one of the driving forces of the mental health crisis in the veterinary profession is dealing with what we refer to as complex human elements. So people who are struggling in their own lives, who are struggling to provide the care that they need. And it's actually the veterinary teams that are copying it. What the veterinary social worker role does is bring in the professional, it's an emerging field, no question, brings in the professional qualified people that can manage the clients and allow our veterinary teams to do what they do best, that they've been trained to do, which is veterinary medicine and surgery. And our vet social workers can help provide, it's a referral pathway for them, and it just brings relief to the industry. Thank you.
Excellent. Any other questions for Alicia, please? Yes, down the front here. Just we'll wait for the microphone to reach you. There's people online that want to. There's people online that want to hear the question. Yes, I do insist.
It's a really simple question. Are some of these dogs rescue dogs?
Oh, absolutely. And it's a lovely question. So I talk about the circular flow of love and money in the Cherish Pets community, and a regular scenario is we specifically care for pets of the elderly, which means that our clients die too. And I've been to many funerals over the last 7 years since Cherish Pets began, because we get really attached to them. So part of our service is the future plan for the pet. So all of our elderly clients have an emergency care plan so that when they pass, they know that their pet is going to be loved and looked after beyond them. We also get referrals from palliative care services for the same thing. So we have this very boutique rehoming service within our community. In the perfect world, the volunteer who has been walking the dog and it becomes a shared care arrangement. Elderly people, their life is changing. They're going into hospital. Their volunteer looks after the dog, and then as things progress, the dog or cat ends up living with that volunteer. But it doesn't always work that way. But yeah.
That's great. It's really good to hear.
So
Thank
special.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We have another question. If you'd like to pass the microphone to the man behind you. There we go. That worked out well.
Thanks for what you do. It's wonderful. I'm interested in that sort of area where you have the competing interests between the human and the pet, and how you go about managing that, whether it's in a case of neglect where maybe you feel as though this could be in breach of a law, or even in the case where you think this is really going to be devastating. If we have to euthanize this dog, this person's not going to cope. How do vets make that calculation?
Yeah, it is really hard. The human-animal bond is extremely complex, and our team, bless our hearts, have had to deal with some really challenging cases, and we're on a really steep learning curve. I always knew that when I started Cherish Pets, I was opening the doors to the two hard basket cases, the ones that used to get turned away. When I worked in mainstream practice, these people would get turned away, and I would look at the dog and I'd go, oh, sorry, what's going to happen to the dog? However, sometimes the really challenging cases is when what's best for the pet and what's best for the human are not the same thing. And again, this is where the veterinary social worker and our beautiful approach to managing these difficult conversations, we've been able to build our confidence to come up with solutions, but it's not easy. Yeah. Good question. You nailed it. That's the core of the hard work that you just brought up.
Fantastic. We have another question here for you, Alicia.
Oh, hi, Alicia. I was interested to hear a bit more about how you plan to scale this nationally.
So I had a moment a couple of years ago when I realised that veterinary social work is something that can be taught, and social workers can develop their expertise and their qualifications in veterinary social work. So working with sharing resources for social workers to move into veterinary social worker, and also resources for the vet industry to help train people within the industry to adopt more of a social worker's lens on the way we deliver service, because it's a multidisciplinary approach to care, and it's one my training has been as a vet. People tell me I'm more of a social worker than a vet because I've got that social heart. But what I've learned is we can bring so much into the veterinary profession by sharing the veterinary social workers' approach to managing people and their pets and supporting the human-animal bond. So it's a big project, and it'll initially be through piloting our service in a couple of other areas. So we've got plans underway for that, and developing our resources. Yeah, good question. Help me. If anyone wants to help me. Sorry, one more. Oh, that's your job.
No, go for it. You're doing beautifully. I'll just be the dog at the side.
Sorry to ask a second question, but I feel compelled. Sometimes at the Funding Network, we hear about exciting new work that's being pioneered, and you are a case in point, and I just feel so excited about the work that you're doing, and I think probably everyone in the room does. And I think you are an individual who's doing something and has a gift, or gifts perhaps, that you are putting together in a way that are immensely valuable. My question is, I have a friend I'm visiting here from over from the UK who is a vet, who sold half his veterinary business during the pandemic for a huge amount of money because it's such a growing area, and who took on 2 new vets as well. So I know, firsthand how the industry is kind of exploding. I also know how stressful it is. He's very stressed. I also know he makes a lot of money. And I wonder if you are looking at the potential for vets to contribute to, because I think that many of them would value not having to be on the front line with the social work dimension, recognise the need for it, and be willing to make contributions towards the costs of funding it.
Absolutely. That's absolutely where it's going. Now that when you do something for the first time new, it's not easy. But now that we're getting that traction and people are seeing the benefits that we're bringing back to the industry, to the vet industry, because originally I just wanted to help all the people, but then I started to see that we're actually bringing a solution to the mental health crisis in the vet profession. SBS Insight did a program May 2020, and I sat there and I'm like, wow, we're part of the solution, because all the mental health care after the damage has been done is essential, but I feel like we're going upstream and preventing the problems in the beginning by creating this role within the industry that is a referral pathway. So the vet industry will rise to this. I have no doubt, already in conversations with the Australian Vet Association, and that will be absolutely part of the funding future for it. Yeah. And we're also very proud. Cherish Pets is actually a dual entity organisation. So Cherish Pets Foundation is our charity, but we're actually a B Corp. I don't know if any of you are familiar with B Corp. We are the first B Corp veterinary service globally. And so embedded in our company culture and everything, in our DNA, is this social giving. So we would like to grow that too, because it's everything that you just said. There is money in the industry, and I just believe that formula of sharing it across and having an accessible service is just so vital.
Brilliant. Yes.
We've loads coming in online, but I might just ask one of them. It's from Mara Leone. And Mara would like to know, where is your organisation currently servicing, and how many people would you have that use the service at any given time?
Oh, that's so beautiful. So we're based out of Geelong on the Bellarine Peninsula. I met somebody before that knows the Bellarine. Very lovely part of the world. So we have up to 50 beneficiaries at a time being supported through our charity, through the funding packages that we provide and the volunteer program. We have a private practice that has got, you know, lots of regular clients. So our whole model is the more regular private clients that we have, the more of our social service that we can deliver. So it's probably about a 1 in 10 ratio. Veterinary social work is time consuming. It's comprehensive care. This is high level stuff that we do for people. And we're also become a gateway service. I go into people's homes who you can see that they're losing their independence and they're starting to crumble, and they have not yet accessed services. So through our vet social work team, we connect them to having an ACAT assessment or to mental health services. Mental health is huge. So that's a big part of our role too. I didn't really fully answer your question there, but up to 50 beneficiaries from the Cherish Pets Foundation at a time. But it's actually more than that, because with the crisis care, they often don't stay on the program. They come and they go. Yeah.
Great, thank you. And Mara, thank you for your question.
I just have one really quick question. When I eventually rescue the dog of my dreams, and his name will be Miguel, would you please be Miguel's vet?
I would love to
thank
be.
you. I just wanted
Anywhere.
I just wanted to check that. Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you.
Oh, why Miguel? That's so odd. Thank you so much, Alicia. From one Geelong resident to another. There we go. The land of bollards and also wonderful organisations. Our third organisation tonight is the Centre for Women's Economic Safety. It provides support to people experiencing domestic economic abuse and advocates for social and system changes that better support women's economic safety and opportunity. Please welcome Rebecca Glenn, founder of the Centre, to the stage.
I want you to picture the credit cards and debit cards that you currently have on you, in your wallet or on your phone. And I want you to think about everything you've bought or paid for on those accounts in the last 2 days. What would you have done without those cards? Do you have enough cash? How long would that cash last you? What if those cards were not a source of money, but a source of information for someone abusing you? Where you were, when, what you bought, where. Information for your controlling, abusive partner to make sure you're following their rules about who you can see and what you can do. This is one picture of what economic abuse can look like. Economic abuse is central to coercive control. And do you know how many women experiencing domestic violence experience economic abuse? Between 78 and 99%. Economic abuse in the context of domestic violence can take many, many forms. But there are three main categories. Control, such as the example I just shared with you. Exploitation, such as making your partner pay all the bills or building up debts in their name. And sabotage, undermining someone's employment or possibly not letting them work at all. Economic abuse makes living a healthy life impossible. At the Centre for Women's Economic Safety, we understand there is no safety without economic safety. So how do you restore your economic safety when someone is abusing you? You're being monitored, you're under threat. And you're told so often how stupid you are. Your dignity is at stake. You're concerned about your privacy. You've got no money. You're very likely feeling overwhelmed. We asked Australians where they would turn if they were experiencing different forms of domestic violence. More respondents said they wouldn't know where to go for support for economic abuse than any other form of intimate partner violence. We set up money clinics to address this gap. Money clinics provide free, confidential, factual financial information to women experiencing domestic violence and economic abuse. We provide one-on-one sessions in easy-to-access community venues. We try and create a safe and warm space that upholds dignity and protects privacy. Let me tell you about Natasha. Natasha was one of the first women to come to a money clinic when we ran a small pilot of the program last year. It was actually in that room with the bad selfie. She seemed nervous as she came in. As we started to talk, she kept checking her mobile phone every few seconds. She apologised to me and she explained she was just afraid her husband would find out what she was doing. He had already installed security cameras inside the house to keep an eye on her. So she'd come to see me in her lunch break from work because it was the only time of day she didn't have to explain her whereabouts to him. He controlled everything, even her part-time income. Natasha had made that difficult decision that she wanted to leave. But she knew she was going to be leaving with nothing, so she wanted to get her ducks in a row. Her biggest concern was where she was going to live. She wasn't sure on her part-time income that she would be able to live near where she worked. So she'd been to see the housing department, and she'd learnt that to access affordable housing, she needed to submit a budget as part of her application. Well, after 25 years of his economic control, she'd never managed money. She didn't know what to expect. We were able to spend her lunchtime working through her income, her likely expenses, and put together a budget for her. Every woman who comes to a money clinic receives a 10-step guide to restoring economic safety. This is an intervention that increases knowledge of the options available. It reduces stress and it can save money. But women who come to a money clinic could walk through that door with any financial issue, from the relatively simple case of needing a budget like Natasha did, or perhaps understanding a credit report, through to much more complex issues, insurance, self-managed super. So this requires broad financial knowledge and expertise in economic abuse and how it interacts with our various systems. It requires women who are violence-informed and trauma-informed. And if we are to walk the talk on women's economic safety, we need to fund this expertise. In Natasha's case, she was able to take that budget to the housing department and as a result, secured a place to live and left her abusive husband. And you know how she described to me her experience of the money clinic? A godsend. There are many more Natashas out there that we could support with your help. Every $100 you pledge tonight will support us to provide specialist assistance to a woman experiencing or escaping domestic violence and economic abuse. Do you know how many call-outs police get every day to domestic violence around Australia? More than 700. In the last hour alone, police will have been called to 30 domestic violence incidents. If you were to pledge $3,000 to the Centre for Women's Economic Safety, that would enable 30 women to access a money clinic. And if you're ready to change the landscape about how we respond to economic abuse in Australia, an investment of $50,000 would fund money clinics for a whole year. Money clinics can't solve everything, but without getting your finances sorted, you can't solve anything. And for some, it will be a godsend. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Now over to the other Rebecca to ask some questions. If your name is Rebecca, get involved. And Rebecca could ask a
All
question
the
to Rebecca,
Rebeccas.
who
This is
could
for
ask a
all
question
of
to
us.
Rebecca, who could ask it. Okay.
Britta, I'm going to kick off with a question. How is what you offer different to, say, financial counselling and financial advice?
Sure. So financial counsellors are qualified professionals with a really specific focus on financial difficulty, which many of the women who come to a money clinic will have. But they have a focus on things like debt and unpaid bills and loans and sorting, fines. That there are a range of sort of specific issues that it really helps to have someone advocate on your behalf directly with creditors. So they're very well set up to do that. I would characterise financial counselling as really important crisis intervention. And I guess where we're really hoping to see money clinics play a role is earlier, when people are just trying to assess their options. So I certainly imagine a future where we're referring, and we have already done so, referred to financial counsellors. But interestingly, I think sometimes the financial counsellors will deal with a debt, but then there's so many other financial, our lives are embedded in finance. I think I know this crowd is likely to understand that. But so we have financial counsellors talking about how they might then be able to on-refer people to us. Financial advice, again, in this room, it's, you have to be licensed to give financial advice. And so that's not something that we do, but we are in talks with financial planners about potentially some pro bono support. So an example might be, often we think of economic abuse and domestic violence as someone with no assets, but of course, sometimes there are people who have had such horrific experiences, they actually have quite large compensation payouts. Right. Well, when you've been controlled and you don't know what to do with your money, actually some financial advice would be really helpful, but you don't want to blow half the compensation payout on paying for advice. So I think that there's a role where money clinics can be liaising with both financial counsellors and financial advisors.
Fantastic. Yes. Any questions, please? Yes.
I've got one online here, or a few actually. Getting lots of love online, so well done. Great pitch. Where are the money clinics held? How do you make sure they're in a safe place that's accessible?
So they're held in a range of community spaces. We don't advertise for obvious reasons. And so it's really built out of partnerships with local community groups. And then they can promote the money clinics as being somewhere at a particular time in a safe way with their network. We are investigating how we might do that in some public spaces, and again, where there might be advertising just on the back of the ladies' toilet doors, in the week prior. There might be that kind of thing. So safety is paramount. That's why it's hard to promote something that you know is needed, but it's not always safe to do so. But yeah, partnerships is the key, and we're talking with a range of community groups. We're actually going to be out at Rozelle tomorrow. I'm pointing at someone in the audience, which is Margie Stewart, who is my partner in crime in delivering the money clinics and director of programs for Centre for Women's Economic Safety. So, yeah.
And you mentioned New South Wales, the money clinics being in New South Wales. Are they in other states as well?
No, they're not. And so I think the Centre for Women's Economic Safety, I guess, has been trialling this and really sees that there's a model. What we've done so far, we find encouraging that, yes, we are meeting a need that is not being met elsewhere. And so we are based in New South Wales, and we're planning to scale that up in New South Wales. But again, we're talking with organisations with national footprints about how we could partner to scale up to train people in other states to deliver the same model.
Yeah, great.
That's the hope.
Yes, we have a question just here.
Hi, I was wondering how you go about measuring impact. That wouldn't be so easy, but obviously it's a key thing for you.
Interesting. I think we've got an ask later, which is I'm really looking for some evaluation expertise. So what we did in our small scale pilot last year was recorded a range of data, de-identified obviously, so that we've got some base data for an evaluator that we can get on board, hopefully. It's really challenging space where you're part of the offer is you don't have to give us too much information. You don't have to sign up to something. We give people an option for us to stay in touch, but it's, so much in the domestic violence space requires you to give your whole story and all of your details to be able to access this much help. It's really out of whack. And so one of our I guess, points of difference when we say there's no stupid questions at the Money Clinic, you don't have to give us any details for us to talk through your concerns about money with us. So I think that's going to be a challenge, and I want to sit down with an expert in evaluation. If anyone has any contacts, please get in touch. That's something I think we're going to work out.
Yes, another question.
Another one online, not a question actually, but a very good suggestion from Leslie. She said, may I suggest that you perhaps approach libraries about accessing space there for your money clinics?
Yeah, spot on.
Spot on.
We've got a conversation that's live at the moment. So yes, I think that's got huge potential.
Brilliant. Yes, a question down the front here.
Sorry, Isaac is dying, but he just wants his family to be quiet. But anyway, I'm sorry. I feel utterly compelled to say I was really struck in your presentation, which was excellent, and the work you do is clearly, vital and deeply needed. But you said you didn't say the words, but I think from my knowledge, you could say that you're saving lives. We know that women are suffering hugely. It's becoming a much more understood area that women who are victims of domestic violence and abuse are, likely to actually be killed, and getting women out of those circumstances through whatever route it takes. And I guess there are any number, but this is, I think, a really innovative, exciting, practical route, and I think it's really exciting to be hearing about it at this kind of, I think you're more than a pilot, but you're not a great deal more than that. And it's exciting that the Funding Network is again hearing from a project that is at this point in time, and I think doing something pioneering and innovative, and I think life-saving. And I think you're being self-effacing and modest not to use that phrase. And I just think it's wonderful. So not a question, just a comment. And I'll be quiet now.
Oh, yes, up the back. There we go. Oh, you've got choices of mics. Look at you.
Rebecca, how did you set up the Centre for Women's Economic Safety? What's the story?
How did you set it up? What's the story behind it?
So I've been passionate about women's financial wellbeing for a long time. And was working in financial literacy when I learned about economic abuse for the first time. So I was talking to these experts in the field, and I had one of those light bulb moments where it's like, oh, this is what my friend's going through, not just arguments. There's a whole lot of other stuff going on, which really just had me go and do some research. And I was CEO of Financial Literacy Australia at the time, so I was pretty across everything that was happening in financial wellbeing in Australia. And it was almost nothing around economic abuse. And so the more time I spent in there, I realised we've got this problem, like outsized problem, with a really disproportionately small response. And it concerned me greatly. The flow-on effects of domestic violence and economic abuse are so substantial and enduring and lifelong, and we are, as a society and economy, losing so much skill and productivity for this unrecognised and under-supported, issue. So so I set up Centre for Women's Economic Safety after spending a number of years in a domestic violence agency, getting to know the sector better. So here I am.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Brilliant presentation, Rebecca. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Rebecca. What incredible stories from three incredible people making real differences in their communities. Awesome just to listen to and be a part of. So let's see if we can work together to raise lots of donations and some funds for these organisations to fund the work that they're doing. So here, oh my gosh, this is the most important bit. Before we start, I'm going to ask their presenters to leave the room. They're leaving the room right now to take a well-earned break, and so we can start our pledging session. I like this bit the most because it's almost like it's a dating show, and then we're going to bring up the suitors later. Let's give them a huge round of applause, though. That was huge. So while I explain how the pledging is going to work, we're going to top up drinks for people in the room and for you at home. Those two things have nothing to do with each other. At home, yeah, top up your own drink or get yourself a cup of tea, put on another episode of Bluey for your kids to keep them from making any noise. So here is how the pledging is going to work. We're going to pledge for each program in the same order that they presented, and we'll invite an advocate for that program up on stage to kick off the pledging. Then we'll go through the audience pledges. For those of you in the room, please raise your hand and we'll get a microphone across to you. Then when it's your turn, please say your name and the amount that you're going to give. For example, Rebecca de Unamuno, and I'm going to give $4,000, for example. Rebecca? Yes. Oh, no, she's panicking. She's panicking. If you're a part of the online audience, please enter your pledge into the chat box, and Julie, the CEO of the funding network, will read it out in the room. We'll also post a mobile number so you can text your pledge if you would prefer. When you're done, we'll do a quick second round in case anyone wants to make any final pledges. You know, check the back of the couch, check all your pockets. So I definitely give everything I can. And all pledges, of course, are tax deductible. Pledges can start from just $100 and there is no upper limit, which is great news, everyone. Sky's the limit. Let's do it. All pledges, small and large, make a huge difference. So thank you to the generosity of the AMP Foundation. So this is very exciting and big. The first $90,000 pledged tonight will be matched. So this means, yeah. This means the first $30,000 pledged to each organisation will be matched dollar for dollar. So let's see if we can make that happen. It's an amazing opportunity to leverage your donations. And please note that TFN retains 10% of donations made tonight so that we can continue to run events like these. Right then, let's get started with NRISE and invite their advocate, Binawee Bales, back onto the stage to advocate for this organisation.
Hello again, Wigiri Nguyen. So as you all know, my name is Binawee and I'm the head of Indigenous programs for AMP. I'm so proud to be here and to be supporting NRISE. This wonderful organisation provides online literacy and numeracy tutoring to children with learning disabilities across remote Indigenous communities in Australia. Bronwyn works with a range of charities to safely connect disadvantaged and vulnerable young people with world-class educators. Now, my family have always been passionate about education, and we've dedicated most of our lives to teaching others. My father was the chairman of the board of the primary school that I went to, and it was an all-Indigenous school. And he implemented a program where every child had one-on-one tutoring, regardless of your learning capabilities. And this really, in 2 years, we were able to increase learning outcomes right across all stages. And that was a big win for our school and for our children, of course, because more children got to graduate. So this program through my primary years really taught me the power of tutoring. And so I'm very, very proud to be here to be supporting NRISE and their Need a Tutor program. I wholeheartedly support Bronwyn and NRISE on their journey because the quality of education should never be determined by one circumstance or geographic location. Investing in our children's future is so important because our children are our future leaders. Knowledge is power, and now we all have an opportunity to contribute towards making a generational change in Indigenous communities by educating their young people. So I would like to start this pledging and kick it off with $500. Over to you all now.
Thank you, Binawee. Okay, let's go to the audience now for your pledges and of course online as well. So we'll get a microphone across to you. If you can say your name and what your pledge is, that would be great. Just whack your hand up and we'll get a microphone across to you.
Who's going to get it started?
What did you say, Julie?
All right, I said, who's going to get it started?
Who's going to get it started? Yeah, a beautiful tribute. Thank you so much, Nicola.
Anyone down here?
Amazing. How are we going, Julie, with the online?
We're
Are we
still. Oh, we're back.
Oh,
Are we
yeah,
back?
they're back.
We're back.
Hey, welcome back. Oh my gosh, the craziest things happened when you were gone. No, some amazing donations were made. And in fact, it was, what was your name again? Bill has said if anybody can match $1,000, that would be incredible online. So if you think that you can do that, that would be so great. And if you would like to throw a challenge back to anyone here in the room, I mean, that is welcome too. To anyone who has been a tutor, that's a great opportunity to donate. If you think, John, you would have, wouldn't you? No. Or offline. Yay! Oh, amazing. Great. I mean, we should have broadly said anyone anywhere can match $1,000. Thank you so much. Okay. Yes, offline was down. I had no idea. I'm another hand up over here.
Yes, Brett Zarb, $200.
Great. Thanks so much, Brett. Oh.
Of $100, and he'd love a match from anyone who has struggled with tech this week.
Yes, I mean, most people turn it off and turn it on again. Okay, that's great. If anyone in the room can think of that, go for it, John.
Oh, I'm going to match Fred.
Yeah.
$250.
Yes, great.
And just as a comment, what a wonderful thing that it's not just the well-to-do kids that are getting the tutoring to give them the foot up that they need.
Totally.
That for disadvantaged kids to be getting this is just so important.
Yeah, absolutely. It is incredible. And like every time someone comes up to speak, I think, yes, of course that's necessary. Why isn't that already happening? Which I guess is why the funding network chooses such worthy organisations and AMP too. Anybody else in the room or online? Go for it, Julie.
Well, I'm the CEO of the Funding Network, so I've clearly had some tech issues this week, so $100 from me.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm still muting accidentally on Zoom. It's humiliating after 2 years. I'm over in the back.
Hi, Ashana Bay. We both work in a tech startup, so every day is an issue.
Oh,
so
no.
we do $100 each.
Oh, great. I thought the tech startups are the ones who are supposed to know what's going on. We're getting some hands up around the room, and please keep their pledges coming online.
Reed Lee, I'll pledge $500.
Great. Thank you so much. $500. If there's any other, does anyone else have a challenge they would like to issue? Tech issues was one particular. Anything else that anyone can think of while you're stewing over whether you should spend money on something else or whether you could pledge more? Are we just about at the end maybe? Yep, go for it.
Jerome think $500, and I will comment that that's about $1 per tech issue for the last month.
Great. Yeah, I feel like COVID has really ramped up any sort of tech issues. We've all got more dogs or pets, and we've all got more tech issues. Go for it.
Lachlan Johnson, $500.
Amazing. And he won't admit to tech issues, but he surely has some. All right, unless anybody else, oh yes, great, in the front row.
Helen at $500, and I'd like to challenge anyone who's got kids who pays for tutoring to make a donation, or anyone who has been tutored while they were going through school to make a donation as well.
Yeah, great. Were you either of those? Yes, okay. Amazing. Oh, Rebecca.
Yes, I have a pledge here from Karen Groves for $100. Thank you, Karen.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Karen. We're just going to go in the back first. Yep, the stripy top.
Thomas and Schmidt, $100.
Amazing. Thank you. There's a new wave of hands up. This is amazing. Amazing pink blazer. Go for it.
Margie Stewart, $500.
Thank you so much, Margie. I actually bizarrely have a matching pink blazer in my bag. We could have been twins for tonight, so it would have been humiliating. I'm so glad that I didn't wear it as well. It would be too much. Go for it.
Leslie Grinshaw, $1,000.
Leslie, yes, awesome. Rebecca, for the online.
We have someone online. We have Marnie, who's accepted Helen's challenge and is donating $100. And also Tashi Dunkel has donated $200.
Great. And accepting the challenge because they were tutored or are paying for tutoring?
That's
yeah,
right.
Okay. And hopefully that's paying off at some point. Julie?
I'm not convinced the online audience heard your challenge, Bill. So for all of those online, Bill put down $1,000 if you could get a match from somebody online. So take note. Thank you.
Okay. Although I will say, I mean, I don't want to make it a competition between online and in the room, but someone in the room already did match it. So, I mean, let's make it a competition, actually.
I have one other pledge here from Jazz Patel, who's texted a pledge of $50.
Oh, Jazz, amazing. Awesome. All right. Well, there'll be another chance in the second round of pledging. Thank you so much, everyone. Now we will move on to Cherish Pets and their advocate, Al Kinlock, who's the Director, Government Affairs and Public Policy at AMP. Online audience, please feel free to start entering in your pledges for Cherish Pets in the chat box now. You can use the number 2 to make sure that it goes to the right one. So remember, there was 3 presentations. This was the second one. It's number 2. Got it? Clear as mud. Right. All right. Al, where are you? Oh, sorry, Rebecca, you've got to...
Before we kick off, I do want to say that Bill's challenge has been matched
breaking
by
news.
Rob Keldoulis, $1,000.
Yes. It was the competition angle. I love it.
Yes, they're coming in thick and slow here. That's where it's happening.
Okay, I should say I'm totally unaccustomed to public speaking, so I'll stutter my way through this. So my name's Alistair Kinlock. I've been at AMP for 23 years, and I'm head of the Public Policy and Government Affairs Department here. And I'm absolutely honoured to be able to support Alicia and Cherish Pets today. When I was approached, I had no hesitation but to support this cause. As you know, I think over the COVID-19 period, we've all experience the critical role that pets play in family life. We're seeing, and I see as you go around the streets, homeless people, the only friend they've got is their pet, their dog. And they feed their pets before they feed themselves. We see them on Circular Quay. For people whose partners have died, the pet is critical to them. And the services that Alicia has established, I think, are absolutely essential going forward. Things are going to get harder, not easier. Alicia founded the world's first veterinary social work service in Geelong, called Cherish Pets. It's unique. It helps the socially disadvantaged, the poor, the women who are subject to domestic violence, homelessness, all the problems we know about. I think we're all aware of friends who've been in this situation. She spoke so eloquently about the situation with Kathy and Toby. Who couldn't be moved by what she was saying? So I strongly support the work Alicia is doing. And what are we supporting here? What we're supporting is the move from a unit in Geelong to a move that's available right around Australia, in Cairns, Townsville, Perth, Gladstone. And I'd urge you to support Alicia and all the work she's doing. And just like Binaway, I'm going to contribute $500 to get the process off. So please donate, please contribute. It's a fabulous cause. And you can be, as a contributor tonight, part of the foundation of a network around this great nation of ours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Al. Let's kick off the pledging. Would anybody like to start straight away? Yes. Oh, great. We've got the 11-year-old in the front. Pop his hand up.
Fred Mulder, $250.
Oh, great. I want to have a phone contacts list like you do. That's amazing. Yep, in the front there.
John, again, I'd like to match Fred again, but not on my behalf, on behalf of my reclassified guide dog and former companion dog, George, who's a lovely black Labrador. He's a very good boy, and I'm sure he'd want me to give $250 and challenge other people with their own cherished pets to make a contribution on behalf of the animal they love as well.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much, John.
I have
Rebecca.
a proxy pledge here from Stephen Malley of $100. Tashi Dunkel has pledged $1,000 if someone loves their pet as much as she does.
Oof.
So I'm guessing it's heaps.
Oh, yes.
She loves the pet.
I
So
reckon.
if someone loves their pet heaps,
Yeah.
that's $1,000 there. And I think everybody should who has a pet. I don't even have a pet, but I'm tempted to pledge $1,000.
I mean, there's your fictional pet, Miguel.
Miguel would love it.
Yes.
Yes.
Which you just speak to in an accent every time. Miguel, come. Keep them coming in. Yes, love to hear from you.
So my 2-year-old Border Collie Sansa would like to pledge $500.
Oh, yes. Border Collies, one of the best types of dogs behind Black Labradors. I grew up with one. Unfortunately, we fed her too much. It's too far in the other direction, but that happens with labs. Go for it, Beck.
See, all that talk of Miguel has worked because Rob Keldoulis is matching the $1,000.
Yes, so good. If you'd like to pledge matching the challenge of even a fictional pet.
Yes.
That
Or
you
if
would
you've read a book that has a pet in it.
Yeah. If you've seen someone with a pet.
For Bonnie, Juno and Mishka, they'll pledge $500.
Amazing. And who are they? Okay. Yes. Oh. Oh, 2 cats and a dog. How beautiful. Awesome. Thank you for that. Yep. Keep them coming in. Any pet related, if you'd like to make the donations from your pets, that is awesome. We've got one coming in.
I'll donate $200 for each of my rescue greyhounds.
Oh, great. How many do you have?
Just 2.
Okay. He's like 10. I'm like, oh my gosh, where do they all fit? They're ridiculous.
We have Lakota Lark, the Siberian Husky, would like to pledge $200.
Oh, how good.
So even the pets are getting in on it themselves. This is exciting.
How good. I loved Alicia's speech. How amazing was it? I was like, oh, she's my new favorite celebrity vet behind Dr. Chris Brown. Up the back.
Charlie, my 7-year-old cross Kelpie Mastiff, would like to donate 100.
Oh, so many generous dogs. Yes.
And for Ruby and Stella, 2 staffies at home, $250.
Oh, how lovely. Thank you so much. That is awesome. Any online ones that we'd like to get to, Beck? Not at the moment?
No, the dogs are typing it.
Oh, yeah, big pause. They're like my mum, still just on one key at a time.
Mark Osborne for Scruffy, who was a Shih Tzu who went a bit wrong. $1,000.
Okay, $1,000. What did you say? She went a bit wrong?
Well, it was crossed with something very strange.
Oh, go. All right. Not just a wild dog. Okay. At the front? Yeah.
Okay, Nadia Taylor from Nadia and Alf Taylor Foundation. So I'll pledge $1,000 for our 2, now wait for it, rescue pit bulls. Okay, they're pit bulls, but they're very nice dogs. Well, one's a rescue dog from the USA and one's from Sydney, and they're beautiful.
Oh,
Mila
wow.
and Havana.
And so they both live where? Here now?
In Sydney.
Oh,
yes.
okay. So you bought a dog over
one from the USA.
on the plane?
Well, my son, he could not leave her behind, but yes, and he sedated her and he did everything.
Oh, my
And it cost
goodness.
him like $12,000.
That
but,
is love.
it was
That
really
is
nice.
love.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. We've got a pledge at the back.
Shannon Bay, $300 for my golden retriever to be matched by anyone else that happens to have a golden retriever.
Great. Okay. If you've got, and what was the match? I missed. Great. If anyone's got a golden retriever in particular, they are particularly good dogs, are delightful behind a black lab, of course, as previously determined. Okay. I'm just in the middle
Jerome
there.
Vick matching $300.
$300. Great. Yep. Over here.
Bill Marinison matching the 1,000, $250 each from Lulu the Labrador, Panda the Labradoodle, Clancy the Wolfhound Cross, and Peanut Popcorn the British Shorthair Cat,
What?
who holds its own in the mixed of that company.
Okay. So these aren't all at your house, I'm assuming? No, these aren't all pets that are at your house? Oh, wow. Okay. That's a lot. Well done.
How do I compete with that? $500 Vicky Norton for our dogs Penny and Martin.
Penny and Martin. This is actually just a great place to come for pet name inspo. Well done. Thank you so much. Yep.
Christy Chandra, $200 for my senior dog, Petey, who's almost 16. And then, my cat, Cookie. So,
Oh,
$200,
great.
thanks.
16 years old. What a wise old dog. Go for it, Beck. Rebecca?
We have Sean Camler is donating on behalf of the Camler family, $500 for our family pet Max. And Tony Coburn is going to give each of those organisations pitching tonight $100 each. So that's a total of $300 spread across all 3.
Oh, wow. Okay, great. He's the head of the game. I love that too. Didn't want to type 3 different times.
No,
So
no, he got the dog to do it. The dog's tired.
Totally. It's a 3-in-1 deal. Yep, just in the middle here.
We have another $500 from Bobo the Shih Tzu Mystery.
So good. Thank you so much. And so many repeat donors. It's really awesome to see. In the middle here. Yep, go for it.
Millie and Benson Grenshaw, $1,500.
Amazing. 1,500. So good. Thank you. Right up the back there.
David Johansson, $500.
$500. Awesome. That's so great. Keep them coming in online. We've still got another chance, of course, for the second round of pledges. Oh, getting in here quick. Love it. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. Just excited.
Neil again. I'll donate $250 if someone in the room called Catherine also donates $250.
Oh, I see what he's done there. He's sitting next to someone called Catherine, and he's making it happen.
Yeah, on behalf of my
canine nephew and niece, Sanchez and Shadow, both of whom were also Black Labrador crosses. $250.
Oh, yay. That's so great. Hey, let's make a Mexican wave of that happening where you just dob in the next person. That works pretty well. Up the back here.
$250 on behalf of my dog Lola, the Beagalier, who's a pain in the ass.
Oh, so great. Awesome. I wish everyone had bought their dogs.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I need a visual representation of them all. Okay, great work, everyone. Now let's see how much we can support Centre for Women's Economic Safety. Let's invite Michelle Gibbon, AMP's customer advocate, via video message to tell us all about the organisation, to advocate for it. So online audience, please feel free to start pledging for CWES. You can use the number 3. Of course, it was the third presentation to make sure that it goes to the right place. Or, of course, you can just do a 3-for-1 deal like the previous guy.
Hi, my name is Michelle Gibbon and I'm the customer advocate for the AMP group. I'm sorry not to be with you tonight. I'm at home isolating due to COVID, hence recording this video. But I'm really pleased to be supporting Rebecca Glenn and her work with the Centre for Women's Economic Safety. Never before have we seen as much information and as many cases around domestic violence in the media as we have now. And also in my work as a customer advocate, we see far more cases than we like where there's women, our customers, experiencing financial abuse and domestic violence. And we know that without economic safety and options, there can be no other safety. So that's why we're so excited to support the work of Rebecca and creating a safe and accessible way for women to access the information that is relevant for them in a way that they can access it in a way that is right for them as well. To kick off tonight's proceedings, I'd like to pledge $500 and I'd love to see who'd be able to match that.
Oh, thank you so much, Michelle. If that was a one-take wonder, she really nailed it. How good was that? She had great lighting too.
Yeah.
Loved the blur behind. Michelle, well done. Does anyone else in the room would like to contribute? Of course, it was such a moving presentation. It was the whole room. You could hear a pin drop. If anyone would like to kick it off. Of course, Michelle has already kicked it off with a very good donation. Oh, yes, great. Up the back.
Sean, and I'll donate 1,000.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sean. Really appreciate it.
Jerome Pink on behalf of my partner, Jenny Brigg, who believes in this very strongly.
Great. Thank you.
$500.
It was like you gave me a blank check. I was going to be like, 20 grand. Oh, great. That's so awesome. Yes.
Fred Mulder, $250.
Yay! How great! I mean, as we were hearing from Eugenie and also from in the presentation, it's such a like an organisation that you don't know is necessary until you hear about it, and it completely makes sense. Of course, we need this sort of support, and the plans for the future sound incredible. So, if there's any more pledges, yes. Got the microphone runners working extra hard here.
Dora, our rescue Kokoni from Cyprus in Greece, our pet, she's actually very serious about this issue and she's doing something a little bit unexpected and she's actually donating $100 to this project. And she's wondering if there are other pets in the room that might feel strongly about it too, particularly female pets.
Oh, great. And she didn't feel strongly about the other one, but she's like, no, this is actually for me. I'm not cherished otherwise. Go for it, Rebecca.
Yes, we have Karen Groves is pledging $500. We have Marnie Reed, who is pledging $200.
I assume these are people's names and not dogs?
That's
or...
right.
Yes.
Tashi Dunkel is pledging the last of her birthday money, 13 years of age, the last, oh my goodness, I need a loan from Tashi. $1,000, the last of her birthday money.
What? How much did she have in the first place?
That's amazing. What a birthday gift that must have been. And we also have Cass Cross, $150 for CWES. Well done.
Wow, that is an incredible amount of donations there, but also $1,000 if you as a 13-year-old, your
I
birthday
know, that's
money.
hard-earned money.
Yeah, I love that. She's not watching the last episode of Bluey. She's there watching this presentation. How crazy.
Brilliant donation.
Yeah. Yes, go for it. Oh, we need a microphone. We're around mic runners.
And I've
Thanks,
got one
April.
in the meantime. So this is such an important issue that's close to my heart. So $1,000.
$1,000. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Bill Marinissen, I'd like to donate 1,500 if I could get a match in here and out there.
Yes. I love how much of a challenger you are. $1,500 if you can get a match. Is there someone in the room who is game?
Yeah, a dual effort. I've got to make Richard Headley, not a dog, he's a person. He'll chuck in 500 and
Great.
I'll add 1,000. Mark Osborne.
Oh, yes. That's awesome. And that was quick too, spur of the moment, to have matched that. If anyone else wants to match 1,500, or maybe you want to double it, maybe you want to halve it, that's fine too. I mean, I'm not very good at maths. Yeah, totally. Okay.
I've got $100 for myself, Julie MacDonald, but I think we might have just had a big one, did we?
Yes, I'm a little excited. Rob Keldoulis has just said, did someone say 20 grand?
What?
Happy to donate that. Thank
What?
you, Rob.
That's crazy. Of course, we can't forget the over $30,000 is being doubled by AMP. So up to $90,000, which is going to be like, that's already happened right now. That's absolutely going to blow the minds of everyone who works there. Yes.
Helen, $500.
Helen, thank you so much.
Thank you, Helen.
Amazing. Oh, we're keeping the hands up here. That's so good.
Reed Lee, $1,000.
Great. Awesome. Thank you so much. If everybody else is finished with their last chance, no, we've still got a hand up at the back of the room. Amazing.
Yeah, Lachlan for $250.
Lachlan, thank you so much. I'm forgetting now what everyone's...
Confetti.
Oh, confetti cannons. Oh my gosh, when I was told it was confetti cannons, I actually thought it was going to be real confetti cannons. I was like, where are they? Okay, they were on-screen confetti cannons.
Margie Stewart, $500.
Margie, 500. That's awesome.
And Brett, $150.
150 from Brett. Thank you so much. I'm getting confused about what people names and which ones are the dogs' names of everyone who's spoken so far. Can we get another confetti cannon? I want to. Is that achievable?
Nadia, $500.
Nadia. Now everyone's doing it for the cannon. Nadia's like, please, cannons. Such a good pledge. Thank you so much. Julie at the back.
I think we did one online one, and if you did read this out, I apologize, Rebecca, but it was Kaz Cross for $150 for Q's.
Great. Awesome. Up the back.
Yeah, Karen Williams, 500.
Karen, amazing. I wondered whether Julie was going to be like, I'm not sure if this is being read out. 20,000. We're going to be like, what? Again? Incredible. All right. Well, there will be another chance in just a moment. But that was an incredible amount of generosity from everybody online and from everybody here in the room. So let's take a look at where we're at for each of the organizations right now. Okay, that is pretty wild. Can we get each of the first two organizations up to $30,000 so it can be matched and doubled by AMP? Is that possible? It would be so good to do, wouldn't it? Okay, shall we do one more round for each of these incredible programs? Online audience, please put 1, 2, or 3, according to which order that they were presented in, by your pledge so we can get it to the right organization. The second round of pledging. Okay, and Rise. Has anybody remembered that they've got any money?
I'm joining in this pledging moment now. I've risen out of my seat.
Uh-oh, bringing out the big guns.
Money up. If it's It's the last thing I do. So if anyone that wants to pledge and would love some ode or dedication to their good selves in rhyming couplets, perhaps you're a limerick fan, I will oblige. Now is the time to get your greeting cards written. I'll write them for you on the spot. All right, now is the time to get the money happening. Here we go. I'm ready.
She's running with a mic. She's going to run to you. That's just terrifying people. They're like, oh,
was that terrifyingly scary? Oh, sorry. Well, that was a bit weird. Okay. I've sat for ages. It's the most I've sat in a while.
If you do feel like you could give any more money to NRISE, if we could get it to that $30,000, wouldn't that be incredible? We've got a hand up in the back.
$500 from Tom.
From Tom. Oh, Tom. They say some evenings are so long, but no long song for you, dear Tom. For you have sat there, oh my honey, yes, you pledged some lovely money. So take this ode for you alone. I'm single, Tom, please follow me home. All right. I'm joking. I'll drive you.
So good. Go for it, Julie, up the back.
Online donations coming in fast and furious. They want more improv there, Rebecca.
Here we go.
We have $500 from Sean Kamler. Thank you, Sean. Always very generous.
Right, thank
and
you.
$100 from Marnie Reed.
Awesome.
And just a reminder to the online audience, we're 40 seconds behind. So pledge now or forever speak your piece.
Yeah. So they're just now going, great poem. We're like, yeah, all right.
Yeah. Going, who's Tom?
Ashana Bay, I'd like to give $100 for each year that both of us have tutored, so $700.
Wow.
Both of you have tutored for 7 years collectively. All right, that's all right. The 7-year itch, no need to scratch. That's a lovely donation. Now let's get a match.
Yes. Why are you here? You should be doing Hallmark cards or something. Is there money in that? I've got no idea.
Great news. The Zero Hero has spoken. He will join you, Ashan. And Rob Keldoulis will donate $7,000 and his wife will match it by another $7,000.
What?
So $14,000 from the Keldoulises. I think that reserves one.
We've done it. That is so awesome. So over $30,000 has now been matched to $60,000. That I mean, another 30. I told you before I needed tutoring, and I don't know anything about maths.
Sorry, his son has just added another 7,000. Thank
What?
you very much to the wonderful Keldoulis family.
Amazing. Thank you.
Keldoulis. Okay, there has.
Yay!
Confetti
Double confetti.
There's one thing to say to the Keldoulis family. At any point I offer for you to adopt me. We thank you so much. It's like bees with rich honey. We love your beautiful pledge and your beautiful money. And now you can see. Yes, that's right. If your surname's Bannon, we just got a confetti cannon.
Okay. Anybody else that would like to pledge? This is your last chance. That's the second chance. We're done online. All right. Let's move on to Cherished Pets. Of course, put 2 next to it if you are online, so it goes to the right organisation. Over to you, Rebecca.
Okay, pledges. I'll be your pet. If you give me a description of your pet, I'll play your pet. I have no dignity. That's right, up the back. None whatsoever. I will be your budgerigar. I do a brilliant wombat. I have played one on the Opera House stage before. A wombat. I've got the hide. Anyone. Here we go. Yes.
$500 from Sylvester, the toothless cat.
Great.
There you go. Thank you. Some of my best work. Thank you. I didn't even go to NIDA.
No, I want wombat. I mean, I'm desperate for it now.
All right, well, this is a wombat burrowing out of... There you go.
Excellent.
Told you, no dignity.
Yeah. Julie at the back.
This was the one I think we had from earlier. Narelle Lee pledged $100 for project 1, 2, and 3. So we're just adding it to project 2. Thank you,
Nice.
Narelle.
Okay, keeping tabs. Excellent. Yes, go for it.
Jerome, think $200.
$200. Thank you so much. I think, did you already donate the last time? Amazing if you went double. I love that. You're like, you know what? Actually, I reckon I do have some extra money. Just feeling around in my pockets.
Microphone on. I will donate $100 as Julie if any current or past board members of the funding network join me.
Oh.
Who are in the room. Oh, yes.
Yes, an extra 100 there. Are you a member of the funding? Okay, you are. Great.
Yeah, Mark Osborne, Dublin.
Brilliant. Thank you so
Mark,
much.
Thank you.
If anyone else would like to dob in anyone else who works for an organisation, that works too. Go for it.
$100 from Dora, the yappy dog, famous on our street for making everyone walk on the other side of the road.
I can't let that go. Dora, that won't let the other dogs on their side of the road. I love it. Hey, other side, get around, get around, get around, get around, get around.
Perfect. In the middle there. Yep.
Oh yeah. Christy Chandler, $600. Yeah, just for all the pets I hope to adopt in the future as well.
Oh, great.
Oh, yay.
The future pets. Oh, I mean, we haven't even talked about future pets yet. I mean, dream pets and future pets were similar. Do you reckon you'll ever fulfill Miguel, though?
Yeah, I watch Pit Bulls and Parolees every day. I'm obsessed with that show, and I do dream of rescuing. The name is, I have an ancestor called Miguel de Unamuno, who was a famous philosopher and writer and poet. And so therefore the Miguel is trying to get in touch with my ancestors in a weird way. Yeah, that's
That's
where
good that
the
there's a
Miguel
story
is.
behind that.
There
I
is a
just thought it
story,
was a
yeah.
weird obsession with the name.
No, well, judging me, it could have been.
Yeah.
Easily. But yes, there is a reason behind Miguel.
Okay. Yes, Julie, online.
We have a double doodle Charlie who is the poop of Robert Kildoulas, who has just donated $15,000.
Way!
Thank you, double doodle Charlie.
15,000.
The Kildoulas family are going to get something very special at the end. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you.
So good. Hey, do we get any confetti? Okay, $400 until we get the confetti. All right, let's make that happen. Up the back.
To the pets I will once have, $400.
Yay!
Oh, good. Yay! Confetti. The Funding Network is a dangerous organisation to work for. Every new event, you end up spending so much money. I mean, I thought it was bad when I worked at Sports Girl. I was like, I'll have that dress. I mean, this is worse than that. All right, shall we move on, or is everybody finished, do we think? This is the last opportunity. Yes, we've got a taker at the back.
Yeah, another $200 from Lachlan if we can see what Miguel actually is like. Or is imagined to be
great.
like.
Okay.
Why didn't anyone think of that sooner?
No, sure. I blame Miguel.
A pit bull, okay.
Hey, how's you doing, man? My name's Miguel. Lots of people look at me and think I'm scary, but man, I have a heart of gold. The most important thing to remember when you're looking at a pit bull is not to look into my eyes. Why? Because I'm captivating. You'd know you got 2 of them. You even brought one over from the US. That's wacky. Okay. So don't be fearful of us, you know. We're just beautiful pets. We love to be touched. We love to be walked. We love to be fed. And I also have a weird food fetish I won't go into. But I just hope that Rebecca de Unamuno finds me one day. You know, I've been waiting, sitting here anticipating. But nothing seems to happen. And so I'm going to go. I've got a pipe for some reason. I'm going to go smoke it, okay?
A pipe smoking pit bull. Got Miguel.
That's how I see it happening as well. It's going to be beautiful.
That makes so much sense. Okay, last possible chances until we'll move on to the third organization. Let's do it. All right, Centre for Women's Economic Safety. Have we got any pledges straight up? Oh, Julie at the back.
Sorry, typical for I think 40-second delay. Just for the last one, Zeb, for Cherish Pets, we had Keisha put in $100 earlier, as did Norelle Lee. So two more hundred. To Cherish
Great, thank you so much. Awesome. All right, well, we'll move on to number 3 now. Although keep them coming in for 2 and 1 if you're too late. If you did have poor typing skills. But also poor typing skills. All right. So Centre for Women's Economic Safety. If anybody has thought, you know what, I'm not quite sure. I mean, there were already a lot of lots of money and pledges thrown around. But if you're listening to the speech and it particularly moved you, maybe now's the time that you could pledge. Julie, did you have your hand up?
I think this is definitely reserved. So Tashi, who's from the Dunkel family, who was pledging her last of her pocket money. Roxanne, her mother, has just pledged another $2,000, and that's the Dunkel family.
The Dunkel.
Awesome, Dunkel family.
Hello, my name's Sheb. I'm a great uncle. I like to applaud the family known as the Dunkel. That's all I've got for that one. But thank you.
Excellent. Yes, in the middle.
Leslie Grenshaw. I've worked in domestic violence field for many years, and I'm very passionate about it. So $1,000.
Oh, amazing! Thank you, Leslie. If you're thinking about it, now's the time. We've got someone with their hand up in the middle.
Hello, it's Steve Hurst. I loved all 3. I find it probably easier to pick.
Sorry, there was just a bit of a silence because Julie just threw the laptop around accidentally. Sorry, go on.
No problem. I think I'd find it easier to pick my favourite child of my 3 kids. So I'll allocate $250 to each.
Oh, great.
Steve, that was really lovely. And I think that, no, hold on to the mic,
Okay.
please, Steve, because I think that you seem like somebody who could improvise yourself.
No, I couldn't.
By the looks of that.
That's like my
just
worst
by
nightmare.
that answer there, he obviously
Yeah,
can.
yeah.
We're going to give...
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, we are. Come on now. Come on now. Trust
What-
me. You will
okay.
feel like $100 at
Will
the
you
end
help
of this.
me?
I will help you. I'm not going to make you do it
Okay,
yourself.
good.
I would like a soliloquy. Shakespeare, go. We're going to tell a story. Do you have a pet?
I've got 2 cats and 2 dead birds.
Okay, great. Well, we'll go with the cats.
Okay.
Hey, yeah, it's a good idea. We're going to tell a word at a time story, which means that I'll say one word, then you're going to say the next word. Okay, and we're going to tell this story together. It's really simple. First word that pops into your head, unless it's really gross, then go for the second. Okay. Okay, very simple. What's the name for this cat? What's the name for this cat that we could have? Anybody? What name? What name should this cat have? You can just make it up. Miguel. Oh, all right. Hello. Feline version. Here we go. And Miguel is doing something. What's Miguel doing? Scratching. Well done. Thank you. Lovely ventriloquism work from there. Did you see that? Miguel the scratching cat. Okay.
Okay.
Waking.
Up.
One.
Day.
Miguel.
Loved.
To.
Eat.
And.
Play.
Whilst.
Making.
Scratching.
Sorry, I was trying to put you in a bad spot there. Her arm.
Scratching. Her arm. It's hyphenated. Well done. Very good. Very good. Eventually.
She.
Scratched.
Too hard.
Yep. Which this obviously is for you, but yeah, never mind. Too hard until
She.
became
Very.
infected.
But.
There
Was.
a
Happy.
vet
Whose.
talents
Were.
magical.
And.
Miguel
And.
his
When.
when was
A.
success. Well done. Well done, microphone. Well done, microphone.
Sorry, I have to. Rebecca.
Oh, yes.
So you love this, Steve. Rob Kildula said he'll donate another 5,000, but only if there's a little more humiliation for Steve Hurst.
Ooh, what else can we organise? Gosh, I'm so distracted by that cat that obviously has some sort of terrible rash.
I know.
Some sort of viral
Well, hey, I
infection.
didn't write it myself.
That was Steve. Out the back, you.
Yeah,
No.
Shana Bay, I'll give $1,000 if I can get 3 matches.
Oh, $1,000 if anybody matches. Can anybody do that? I mean, don't feel pressure. Nadia, if you go for it. Oh, I mean, that was for $1,000 for any matches.
Okay, I'll do the 1,000. Yeah.
Oh! How good are you? Put on the
Nadia
spot like
Taylor,
that.
1,000.
Amazing. Well done. Thank you so much. Anybody else would like to think of a way that Steve could be humiliated or nothing crazy, don't worry. No, he's into it. All right. for the cause. Anything else before we finish up? Oh, yes. Great. So awesome. Microphone's coming to you.
Chrissy Chandra, $1,000.
$1,000. So great. Well, that's it, I think, unless we want to, is everyone online biding their time, do we think? I'm going to start wrapping up and then Julie's going to be like, wait, or I'm going to go,
Exactly. I'm just going to give them 30 seconds. So, Rebecca, would you like to
yes,
do a little,
A
Rebecca
little-
special?
Do what? What am I doing?
Little Rebecca special.
A little Rebecca's well, I can't.
How about
hear.
for the
If you were-
CEO of the funding network globally, Eugenie Harvey?
I'm just so loving my new title, which is not my title, but it's so great. So I just know that Fred, who we pledge for, who's the founder of the funding network in the UK, he loves things to be a little bit even. So I know he'd want to do another $50 to take us to 198,000, and he would hope that that might trigger other people to think that it would be great to get to that next milestone, which I think we can all see what that might be.
Oh,
So
I love what you're doing. Yes.
So
I
that's
think we'd love it to go to
$50
200
for each of them from Fred to take his contributions to 300 to each of them.
Amazing. Great.
Well, Fred, your magic has worked, Eugenie. We have another $1,000 for each of them from Rob Keldulas.
Okay, excellent. And so you'd ideally think it would be good to see a full $200,000 round figure. Okay. 300. Yeah, that's what we've got to get to next. And I feel like collectively as a team we can do it. Julie, what's happening online?
The wonderful Harris Foundation. Deborah Harris has just pledged 5,000 for each of the three from the Harris Foundation. So well done. Thank you, Deb.
Deborah from downtown. How amazing. I love that. Deborah was just waiting. She was just sitting till the end of the auction and then she was going to be like, boop. How good. Any others? Do we think that's about it? How incredible. What an amazing night we've had. $216,000. They're going to freak out. Thank you for demonstrating the power of what we can do together collectively. It's so awesome. Now we're going to hide those titles as we have on the screen and bring our presenters back on stage to show them what we've achieved tonight. And while we're waiting, let me share their pro bono asks, ways that you can help with your time and talent if that's at all possible. So NRISE are seeking any office space in southeast Melbourne for 1 to 2 days per week. If that rings any bells for you of something that could be what you could offer. An opportunity to work with any corporate reconciliation action plans. The Cherish Pets are looking for assistance with fundraising strategy and corporate partners and legal services for IP and NFP structures. First, I thought that said NFT and I was like, oh, that's very on trend. Not that. Centre for Women's Economic Safety are hoping to get assistance with expertise in program evaluation, community or retail locations that they could run money clinics from. And there was a good library suggestion which came through before. But yeah, if that's something that you think that you would be able to assist with, that would be awesome. And there are ways that I'll chat about soon about how that could possibly work, but you'll get an email tomorrow, which I'll get to in a sec. All right, come back onto the stage, presenters. and we will reveal the totals. This is the part in the dating show where we reveal the suitors. All right. Are you ready? For NRISE, the total is $70,100. Such incredible feedback in the room. Congratulations to you. Really amazing. Yeah, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Thank you so much. Pinoy, thank you so much. It'll help so many children. Really. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Amazing. Moved on to Cherish Pets now. And I'll tell you, there were a lot of pets that made donations. In particular, a lot of Labradors, golden retrievers, pit bulls, staffies. There were a lot. Okay, and the total was $66,800. Would you like to say any words? Do you have your microphone still on?
Got my microphone on.
Oh, great.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. As I said in my pitch, 60,000 was the dream, to invest in scaling our service, and just so grateful to AMP Foundation. The Tomorrow Makers experience has been a game changer for us. And then for the funding network to select me for this second round of funding is just like the dream. And special thanks to Rob, our pitch coach, who's like our favourite uncle now. And I've just loved working with Beck and Bronwyn, and we were just agreeing in the green room that we're just going to stick together and support each other as founders. So thank you so much. Thank you.
That's so lovely that you had a chance to come together. And the final one, the Centre for Women's Economic Safety. The total that we came to was $79,100. Oh, and what incredible support from the other presenters.
I know.
Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you so much. Thank you, the Funding Network and AMP Foundation, for actually making this a reality for me and for Centre for Women's Economic Safety. I echo Alicia's comments. It's been awesome working with these two and Uncle Rob. Yeah, and Margie, after a year of your volunteering, you're going to get paid tomorrow. Thank you so much.
So great. Well done. If we can get all three presenters up on stage now with your totals, that'd be great. We'll grab a quick picky. So thank you again to our amazing presenters, our host and our partner, the AMP Foundation, and to everyone joining us online and here in the room. If you are online, you can click the green button that just popped up to fulfill your pledge now on the TFN website. For those in the room, you can use the QR code you'll see on your way out. For tomorrow, keep an eye out on an email detailing how you can pay. And we'll also send a link to tonight's stream so you can share with your networks and encourage others to support, which would be awesome. We'd also love for you to join our online community. You can find us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, not TikTok yet. It's coming. We will update you on the impact of our support of these amazing organisations over the coming weeks and months. And when you fulfil your pledge, please consider any extra contribution you can make to the funding network. Any gift, large or small, will help us to continue to run events like these and support grassroots nonprofits. Until we meet again, thank you so much for your time, generosity and support. Please stay safe and have a great evening.
If we could just ask the live audience just to stay for one more moment. There's just something a little special we want to do.
Yes.
That's okay.
So I didn't want the online audience to feel sad.